All right, go.
I'm Annie Unrein, and I'm representing Superior Threads and Patterns by Annie. And we are introducing a brand new product that is used to create texture on fabric. It's called Texture Magic. It comes in a package that's 47 inches wide by 18 inches, so a half a yard. You're going to take it out of the package, you're going to look at it, and you're going to say, what is magic about that? It looks like a plain old piece of white lining fabric. But when you stitch this to fabric and hit it with steam and heat, it shrinks. And it shrinks approximately 30% in every direction, so it shrinks a lot. So you're going to take the fabric that you want to texturize, you're going to pin the Texture Magic to the back. If you would like to mark stitching lines to follow, you can do that first. We have found that it's really not necessary to mark lines. It doesn't matter if they're straight or evenly spaced. You don't have to do lines on this one. I followed the design on the fabric and I just stitched along those. On this one, we did a decorative stitch. We set our machine on a decorative stitch. We used a heavy thread, Superior Threads New Brights, which is a 35 weight thread, because we really wanted that stitch to show up as a design element. We stitched through that. On this bag, and this bag, and this bag, we did the grid, but on these two, rather than stitching straight lines as we did on this one, we did the serpentine stitch that everybody's sewing machine has, and you get that great wavy effect which kind of makes your grid disappear. That's become our favorite stitch. It's what we did on the little pink dress, it's what we did on both of the baby quilts. It's what we did on these quilts over here too, the Celebrate and the Cafe Vienna. So it's a good all-purpose stitch that works on any fabric. So you're going to mark your lines if you choose, then stitch the two pieces using whatever stitch, whatever thread, so long as it's Superior Threads, of course. And then you're going to steam it. If you have a steamer like this is the best because this does not get hot on the bottom. You can set this right down on top. If you're using a steam iron, hold it up above it a little bit. You don't want the hot sole plate to touch the Texture Magic. It won't ruin it, it won't melt it to your iron, but it makes it stiff. It stays really soft and supple if you only use steam, and you're welcome to feel that if you'd like. You will know you're done steaming it when it lays perfectly flat. So that's why we tell you to steam it from the back. Because if you steam it on this side, you can keep your eye on that. If you still see wrinkles and creases like this in it, that's your clue that you need to steam it some more. You don't want to go to assemble your project and press that seam and have this one shrink some more because it's going to take that one right with it. So just make sure it lays flat. If all I had to steam it with was a steam iron, I would probably steam it from the fabric side so I didn't have to worry about touching my hot sole plate to it. But just make sure you check on the back. So when it's done steaming, it's done, it lays perfectly flat. And the great thing about that is because you have a flat piece of fabric, you cut it apart and use it in your project just like it was any other piece of fabric. So you can use it in your quilt block or your purse or your garment just like it was regular fabric.
Straight lines or...
You can do whatever you want, and I'm going to show you some options. This one and this one are both stitched along the grid lines on the fabric. This one looks really different because I put a layer of wool batting in between before I stitched it. So that wool gives it an extra puff. That's also what I did on this one. This has a layer of wool batting added in between because I really wanted those veins to pop out. Then I wanted to try something without marking, so I did a stipple stitch. And the stipple stitch is what I did on these little accessories in this pattern, each of these. And this is a good example to show the stitch, or the texture shows up a lot better on a light colored fabric than on a dark colored fabric. Although I don't think you can have anything that looks prettier than that.
That's pretty.
Cotton velveteen is textured. It really turns out beautifully.
I love it.